All right, I'm here. Believe it or not, I'm here. Where is here? Here is anywhere you want it to be. Anywhere you need it to be. I'm here. I answer calls. You put up a signal with my name on it, and I will go there. Right? Like I won't take you there, but I'll go there with you. I'll be a nice. Anyway, hello, 511 Thoughts. So, how was my day? Well, as you can see, it was a day spent somewhat in the sun. As I'm in the sun now, so it's very good. Thoughts of, like, what happened. Stuff, like, generally stuff happened. I moved around. I don't do a lot of talking. I wonder, question of the day, like, I wonder how, like, do you, this is gonna sound, like, really bad, but I'm really curious, like, how much do people talk during the day? Like, if you're, for example, like, if you're a streamer on, like, Twitch, right, like, the streaming platform thing, the platform for streaming, excuse me, but it's sort of like, that's what they do, is talk, and I would imagine that if you, like, actually have friends, you probably talk to them, but I'm wondering, like, how much you talk, like what quantity you talk. I don't know. That's kind of weird, I know, but I'm actually I don't know, like, it's interesting because like I wonder, like, I feel like I probably, like, I don't know, like, it's interesting. I wonder, I bet you we overestimate how much we talk. I probably underestimate how much I talk, especially, talking to the camera, but it is what it is. It's just an interesting question. Anyway, but like I said, so why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying that because even though I did stuff, I didn't talk to stuff, or, except for my phone. And so it's one of those things where I didn't do a lot of talking, but I did walking and obviously driving. I have to admit that actually, driving is probably one of my favorite things to do. So it's interesting because, like I think I talked about last Sunday, right? It was literally last Sunday that I liked riding my bike, right? And I used to, like, ride my bike. But now that I'm an old fart, I gave up on pedaling, but I still like to do the Sunday drives, right? So, they used to be like, I think there's on YouTube, speaking of streaming, there used to be, like, they had like state guideline things, where it was like state tourist attractions for the United States, and they used to put, like, come to our state, and it would always, in one state in particular, there was this guy and his lady, and they were just, like, driving, and it was sort of like, let's go for, like, an afternoon cruise. I don't know if people still do that. I feel like some people do. The general point there is sort of like, you never know, like, what people. I remember I was talking earlier about sort of, like, losing touch with, like, trends. I try to stay in touch with trends and stuff, but it's tough because, like, if it's the more decentralized you are, right, the more, you're sort of, it's hard to keep track of trends, right? Like, even with the internet, I mean, you go to, like, a mainstream site, and one of the values of mainstream sites is presumably it's sort of either tracking or informing the mainstream trends, right? The problem is I gave up on, like, mainstream sites. It's sort of like I don't go. So you don't know what, because the thing is that, like, you are dependent upon the mainstream sites to tell you what the mainstream trends are. And so it's like, oh, it's interesting. But you can imagine, like, like, if we were living in, sort of like olden times, you'd have the sort of tribes, and it would be like, we don't know, what you guys are doing, and we don't know what we're doing. And so it's sort of like, there's, like, cultural diffusion, I think is what they call it, but it's an interesting thing. Anyway, I had thought that as I was driving, I was going to be able to perform better, right? Because yesterday we barely got to, like, 10 minutes. and I thought, this is my performance, right? No, but I thought that I would be able to perform better, but I'm actually, it's interesting. One of the things I'll say, like, one of the things that's interesting is that, sort of this idea of like multitasking, right? And like, I've always considered myself to be prone to multitasking, but I think that's probably like more a, that's more of a, that's more related to my inability to like attend to one thing at a time than it is sort of like my natural talent at multitasking, right? Like I know someone who, said like, oh, I never multitask. And I was like, well, why don't you multitask? But it is not, it's not easy multitasking, especially trying to talk as I'm driving here and, all that kind of stuff. So it is interesting. I say that because like, it's interesting to see like, we think we're multitasking, but we're just doing a bad job at two tasks, I don't know. It's interesting. What else can I say today? Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Just obviously, I think it's the first day of spring. So it's, it's a nice clear day. Where I am at, there's literally not a cloud in the sky. So it's kind of like, this is like, get ready for spring. And, yeah, so what do I plan to do for spring? I mean, not much, I'm thinking about what I will do, in terms of like maybe, summer and stuff. Hopefully, I'm thinking about, like inflation and stuff like that. Like this stuff, like, I don't know. I feel, it's to the point where you get a like twinge of guilt because it's like, oh, I'm driving. And it's like, oh, well, you should be driving with gas prices like $10 a gallon, It's like, hopefully that, do you guys think that, it's going to go down? I thought it peaked, but now I'm like, I don't know if it peaked or not. So we'll see about that. But, yeah, this is very laborious. Other thoughts that I have, not much, just kind of trying to take a Sunday fun day for sure. One thing I'll say is that like what I'm realizing is, I guess it's to be expected, but the the you-knows and the sort ofs, it's funny, they don't appear in like my writing. And I was thinking to myself today, I was like, I bet you I'm probably a better writer than I am speaker. Now, I don't want to say that as in like I'm a good writer. It's probably more the case that I'm just not a good speaker, But it is. But I'm wondering, like, because another thing like I'm thinking about is like, I wonder if it's sort of like because I'm attuned to sort of like the environment. Sort of likes are coming through, right? The sort of likes help me get to 10 minutes. But because I'm attuned to the environment, it's harder for me to maintain a train of thought. But remember, if we're looking at, say, a computer screen or maybe a typewriter, it would be interesting to see if it held true with a typewriter. But if I'm looking at a screen, I'm kind of forcing myself to focus, right? I don't, when I write, when I used to write for school, I would put on music, but it would have to be like classical music because you don't want to sort of like have, you don't want to have your attention to music that would make you lose track, right? So that classic music is good in the sense that that's a kind of a multitasking, but at the same time it's also the music that just kind of soothes you, puts you in a relaxing mood so that you can actually, but also like focuses you. So that's what I was thinking about. I feel like I should. I mean, all of that to say, it only hints more at like doing scripts, right, for this stuff. So I don't know. I'll have to think about doing that. But yeah, this did not go as well as I had hoped it would have. But I think I do need maybe a spicy topic next time. But anyway, hope everybody's having a great Sunday, and yeah, drive on. Enjoy the ride. Life's a journey. Enjoy the ride. No copyright infringement intended there. All right, have a good one, guys.